Double! Chicka chicka! Wicka wicka wicka! I know I've been lax on this lately. Hello, YouTube. Yeah. Oh, today... Let me have a look. Today, we've got some of this guy.
Nope.
Maybe some of
Nothing
this
good
guy.
happens at 1 a.m, especially with you going 70 and a 30.
Oh, and of course a few of this one.
You will be stuck like Chuck until this thing is over.
Alright. Now we've got all that out, let's...
The reason if he does, tell him I'm going to light him up.
Let's bring him on and... let's put my avatar back where it usually sits. Blah, 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 that one. Yeah. So, what's going on? Yeah, I've been watching Colin, definitely not Cromwell, but I've been watching him a lot. It's been good. Little Talk with Mike's been good. Blimey. I haven't done the, and the reason I haven't got my face on is this laptop tries to process everything as well. So, but I haven't tried to stream the last couple of days because there's been 2 days in Houston where, get this, no defendants, no arraignments, and no THAs. Like, people must have been either really freaking good for 2 days, or the police is saving them up for this damn day. And it happens to be a Friday. Well, this happens to be done on Friday. It is now Saturday in the US, Sunday New Zealand, but I decided, why not? Why not join the gallery, even if it's a bit late? And honestly, if I wasn't working at the time this was live, I'd probably get up and live stream as it was live, because I know a little bit of what's coming up in here. It's been a couple days since, so yeah, I might not remember everything, but there's some things that make you go, "What? Come on now." So yeah, let's get started, shall we?
But I think Victoria wanted to knock out the Spanish one.
Yeah,
that's no problem.
Luis.
Victor also.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, and by the way, I am drinking today. Let me do this quickly. I'm drinking a Dutch beer. It's only 4.7%, so it's not heavy, but yeah. I thought I'd have a cheeky one, given that most of my work has been graveyard shift. Oops.
The fifth judge are on page 6. Resenda. Also,
You all gotta let me know if you can hear it.
and then the co-defendant is on page 15. Ochoa Gonzalez.
Victor, are you in both cases?
Good morning, Judge. Yes, I am.
Oh, Victor.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
Try it again.
Good morning,
Victor.
Judge. Yes, I am.
All right, let's roll, nerds.
Judge feeling nerdy today. Oh, damn. 2 defendants.
And just so the court's aware, Judge, there is a typo on the first name for Henley's. They've got it as Genyls. It should be Genlys.
With a D like David?
No, the Y and the L need to be flipped, Judge.
Okay.
Love it when the court messes up like that.
All right. Good morning.
Yes.
I want to let you both know that if you look on the TV, your lawyer is on the TV with you now, so that you're not alone. Both of you are charged with theft. You are facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present if you cannot afford one. One will be appointed to you. Okay.
Yes, Judge. On November 15th, 2024, officers were dispatched to Walmart in regard to a theft. Upon arrival, officers made contact with the complainant, the asset protection officer, who stated he saw the defendant and co-defendant conceal items in the defendant's purse.
Scummy. Oh, man. I can't tell you how much I hate these people just for that.
The complainant advised that as defendant was concealing items, co-defendant was staying very close to shield her from others in order to prevent them from being seen and from others seeing what she was doing. Both then exited the store, passing all points of sale, with items still in the defendant's purse. The complainant detained the two and recovered the stolen items. Total $112.31.
Ow. Ow and ow. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Mr. Ochoa Gonzalez and Ms. Fresneda, I am finding that there's probable cause to go forward on both of your cases. Tell me, what is your immigration status? Are you in this country with or without permission? Ma'am,
With permission?
what is your immigration status? Are you a citizen of the United States, sir? I don't know if you do or if you don't, and quite frankly, it doesn't matter to me. The only thing I'm going to advise you now is that if you have any problems with your immigration paperwork and you go to jail, immigration will put a detainer on you and you will sit in custody first until this case is over with, and then you will be shipped off to immigration and you will sit there for another 6 to 9 months waiting for immigration to do whatever they're going to do.
We'll just say it right, shall we?
You will be stuck like Chuck until this thing is over with.
That's better.
If you do not want that to happen, do not violate these conditions. Do not pick up any more criminal cases. This is the only warning that you will get from me. I am now ordering you as a condition of your bond not to go to any Walmart for any reason whatsoever. Do you understand?
Okay.
If I find that you go to Walmart and I don't care what your reason is, I will issue a warrant for your arrest and I'm going to put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Likewise, you pick up another criminal case, you will go to jail. Both of you have a lawyer. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with Mr. Porras, and he will tell you if and when you have to come back to court. If he comes back to me and tells me he cannot get a hold of you because you guys are playing games, you're not responding to phone calls, text messages, likewise, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. For now, I will have you go to Victoria. We will have you sign a reset. After that, I'm going to have you both take a seat in the jury box while we get your bond conditions. Heed this warning. You will not get another one. Okay. Victor,
Yes, sir.
did you get a date already?
Not yet, Judge.
January 28th through the 30th.
What
We can do
day?
the 28th.
Okay. Right, Judge, and then Marcos is approaching on page 2. Alonso Herrera.
Can you file those conditions, please, on both of those? Are you
May I
flying
be excused, Your Honor?
Otherwise, sir, should be here. And Jenny's helping out today.
Say
May
it
I be
again?
excused, Your Honor?
Oh, yeah, you got it. Have a great weekend, bud.
Appreciate it. You too, Judge.
I love how the lawyers are all are all polite. I guess they have to be to some extent, but I have seen a few rude ones here and there, but usually not in this courtroom. All right.
ALO.
Alonso Herrera.
Thank you.
Herrera. Oh,
You, Ruben Alejandro Alonso Herrera.
Yes, Judge.
Sir, you're charged with failure to comply with duty, striking an unattended vehicle. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and/or a $2,000 fine. You're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present if you cannot afford one. One will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
The officer was dispatched to a residence in Harris County, Texas, in response to a failure to stop and give information. The complainant reported that his brother was standing outside when he heard a loud bang and saw a silver car striking the complainant's car, which had been parked in the street. The complainant and his brother immediately began pursuing the vehicle and observed it parked in front of a residence down the street. The complainant took photos of the defendant exiting the vehicle and going into the residence. When officers asked whether the defendant remembered striking the complainant's vehicle, the defendant stated, "I probably scraped by it, but nothing."
that cup. That cup. I'm not going to be bothered searching for it. But that cup the judge just had a drink out of reminds me very much of the Starbucks takeaway cups for Christmas. Now, it is likely he went to Starbucks on his way to work, but I don't know how likely it is he's still got the drink this far into the day. Because remember, quite a bit would have elapsed since he got to work.
Nothing at all. It was dark out.
What's the value?
Let's see, Your Honor. Approximately $1,500.
Judge, I don't think a rip has been done, so there's no estimate. We don't know. Who
Yeah, I get it, but at least it needs to be over $200. That's why. Sir Alonso Herrera, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Do you have a valid Texas driver license, sir?
Yes, sir.
You have valid liability insurance in your name?
No, Judge.
Then you're not allowed to drive. And I'm making that a condition of your bond until you have liability insurance and show us that you have liability insurance. I'm making the condition of your bond that you're not to drive. I don't care where you're going. I don't care what you're doing. Do you understand?
Yes, Judge.
You will be signing an affidavit with me today promising me that you're not going to drive. If I find that you do, it's possible that I have a contempt hearing. And every time they prove to me that you're driving a vehicle, you can be facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $500 fine. Do you understand?
Yes, Judge.
Now you have a lawyer. Good job on having a lawyer. Because you have one, I will waive your appearance, but it's your responsibility to stay in touch with Mr. Adroga, and he will tell you when you have to come back to court. If he tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, I will issue a warrant for your arrest.
Yes,
Pick up a new case, violate any conditions. Likewise, you will go to jail. You will not get any more PR bonds, sir. All right, I will have you come up here, swear to us that you're not gonna drive. I'll get you Victoria sign a reset, and then you guys are good to go.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Judge, page 1. Adam Come on up.
All right.
Page 1, Adams.
How many bonds have we given or reinstated for Mr. Adams here?
So 3 and 10, one GOP, one reinstatement, and then we,
And now he gets another PR bond?
no, this one was issued, we want this last one.
Do you have a lawyer today, Mr. Adams? Your case is 1,258 days old. It
Hell, that's an old case. Flippin' oath. 365 is 1 year. Basically, it's about 2.5 years old. This guy should have put it to bed fucking years ago.
is time to put this baby to bed. Take a seat for me. Vic, do you mind appointing him a lawyer, please?
Okay,
We'll do something today.
next up is page 2. Arvalo. Maryland.
Ms. Aravalo, you were charged, how old are you, ma'am?
20.
Ma'am, you're charged with prostitution. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You have already taken off on us 2 times. If it happens a 3rd time, you will stay with me.
Ma'am, you need to find another career. Seriously. I know it usually pays well and all, but fucking hell.
We'll not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand? And ma'am,
Yes, sir.
do you,
No, sir.
I'm gonna appoint you one today and we will figure out where we go. Take
Hey, Ariel.
a seat for me in the jury box, ma'am.
Next up is page 3.
Arispe? You speak English, sir? Come on up. You are Tomas Arispe? Yes or no? Are you Thomas Arispe?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sir, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
I'm going to interrupt right here. Send him for a drug and alcohol screening, Judge. Straight up. He can't even remember his own name. Jeez. If you can't remember your own name in court, you're on something at least.
To you, sir.
Yes, Judge. The officer initiated a traffic stop after observing the defendant make an improper wide right turn at an intersection with traffic lights in violation of Transportation Code 545.101. Upon contact, the officer observed
And he's not focusing anywhere in particular. Guilty as charged. And strung out as fuck too, might I add.
strong odor of marijuana. The officer observed a glass pipe in lighter in the cup holder in plain view. During a PC search, the officer found an unholstered gun below the driver's seat. In the center console, the officer located a clear plastic bag containing marijuana and another plastic bag containing square tablets believed to be LSD.
How old are you, Mr. Arispe?
17.
I'm sending you now for a drug test. I want to know what, if anything, is in your system. You are to take the drug test and you're to come right back. If you fail to take the test, if you fail to come back, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand? Okay, take his speech for me.
All right, Judge, next is page 4. Caldwell, come on up.
Oh, and I'm finding probable cause.
Probable cause.
Jordan Caldwell? Ms. Caldwell, you were charged with assault of a family member. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge. The officer is dispatched to a residence in Harris County, Texas, in response to a family disturbance. The complainant stated that she got into a verbal argument with the defendant, her daughter, because the complainant believed the defendant was not taking care of her children. At that point, the defendant picked up a baby bottle and threw it at the complainant, hitting her in the cheek, causing pain. The defendant admitted to having thrown the baby bottle.
Okay, sure, it's an odd weapon, but yeah. Something's messed up with this one. Big time.
And I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I don't show a protective order of initiative. Do you show one? No? Okay. Ms. Caldwell, I'm entering in what's called a magistrate's order for emergency protection. This is a court order that identifies Candy Lachey as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person. Commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot be in possession of a weapon or go within 200 feet of where she lives or where she works. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. It's not an answer, ma'am.
Yes.
How old are you, ma'am? Are you here with anyone today? Who are you here with today? I'm sending you now for a drug test. I want to know what, if anything, is in your system, ma'am. You're to come
What
right
choice?
back. If you fail to take the test, if you fail to come back, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand? Okay, can you have her sign the note before she leaves, and then we'll send her for a test, please,
You're done with it, Your Honor?
for now.
All right, Judge, next is page 5. Durden, Aaron?
Yes.
Oh yeah, this guy's eager to get his stuff done.
You are Aaron Durden?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Durden, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
On November 14th, 2024, the officer was on a traffic stop in Harris County, Texas, with emergency lights activated when he heard an engine roaring of a performance motor vehicle and observed the defendant's Lamborghini on the feeder road traveling at least double the speed of moving traffic with a posted speed limit of 45 miles per hour. The officer observed the defendant's motor vehicle swerve in the feeder lanes and enter South Highway at a very high rate of speed without signaling a lane change. The officer terminated the traffic stop and attempted to catch the defendant. The officer observed the defendant's motor vehicle turning into a bar and initiated a traffic stop. The officer approached the motor vehicle and observed the odor of brakes and engine burning from aggressive driving. The officer observed the defendant to be the operator of the motor vehicle sitting behind the wheel and observed a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage and watery eyes. The defendant stated he was coming from Captain Tom's and standard field sobriety tests were started. The defendant then complained he had poor balance, and the defendant fumbled through his wallet trying to find his Texas driver's license and stalled when answering where he was coming from. The defendant was searched, and the officer found a receipt from a bar in the defendant's short pocket, and HGN eventually was conducted, finding 6 out of 6 clues. Walk and turn and one leg stand were refused. The D was read the DIC, but refused blood. A search warrant was obtained and executed.
Blimey. It started out sounding like he might as well have been a YouTube influencer. Because Lord knows there's been a couple of those recently. Freaking doing stupid things in their cars. And I mean stupid things. I'm not here to pick them apart, but MKBHD, maybe think twice before you post a video like that again, please. That was embarrassing for everyone. And Jack Doherty, get the feck off the platform. Honestly. But yeah, they're just two of the ones that I'm aware of who've done stupid things in a Lamborghini recently. It seems to be the season for it. What can I say?
All right, Mr. Durden, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to drive any vehicle that doesn't have an ignition interlock on it. That is a blow and go that you put on your car to make sure that you don't have alcohol when you get into a car. If I find that you drive a car that doesn't have one, I will put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, Judge.
I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I will randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, likewise, you will go to jail. No more PR bonds for you, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Understand that we send notice to DPS in Austin so that any and all officers know if you get pulled over, you're to be driving a vehicle that has an interlock. And if you drive one that doesn't, they will immediately take you to jail. So beware that the all-seeing eye knows. You understand?
Yes, Judge.
I'm going to give you time to hire lawyers. So I'm going to have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. You will then get with Fleischer for your bond conditions. And after that, you'll be free to go. All right?
Judge.
Okay. Please. Hi, Billy.
Next is page 5, Flores, come on up. What do you say?
Jose Antonio Guzman Flores. So you're charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
The complainant and the defendant are in a dating relationship. On November 16th, 2024,
Where's the love boat? I need to clip the love boat. Plus I need that goat scream. Because yeah.
the officer was dispatched to a residence in reference to a disturbance. The officer made contact with the complainant, who stated she and the defendant began to argue. When she discovered the defendant gave her an STD. The argument began as verbal. The complainant wanted to leave, and the defendant grabbed the complainant's wrist and began to pull her. The defendant then grabbed the complainant's purse, which was wrapped around her waist, and then began to pull her hair. The complainant and the defendant separated when officers arrived. The defendant stated he did not put his hand on the complainant by grabbing her wrist, and pulling her because he wanted her to calm down. The officer observed an injury to the complainant matching her statement.
So you said pull the hair? Is that what you
He
said?
pulled her hair, yes, Your Honor.
And did you?
He gave her an STD. Oh Damn. One would think people these days would be better equipped to deal with it, but I guess some people are still silly as fuck. No offense, but yeah. Jeez. I don't know whether she deserved it or not, but yeah. They both seem as bad as each other, these two.
You say that it hurt?
The complainant did state that she felt pain.
All right. Okay, Mr. Flores, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Do we know if she wants to have contact with him? Yay?
Hell no! He gave me an STD, he can feck off.
Or nay?
A rip was performed, and let me see real quick.
Take your time. No rush. I don't see. All right, so
Does not appear she wants contact with the defendant, Your Honor.
no.
No
All right,
contact.
so, and I'm entering in what's called a magistrate's order for emergency protection. This is a court order that identifies Ms. Robles as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person. Commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot be in possession of a weapon or go within 200 feet of where she lives or where she works. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If you violate this court order, the state can and will file additional cases against you, a violation of protective order, and it's one of the worst misdemeanor cases you can pick up. So just stay away. Don't have contact with her. If she texts you, don't reply. If she calls you from an unknown number, hang up the phone. Just don't have any contact and everything will be fine. How old are you, sir?
22.
What do you do for a living?
Technician right now.
And what kind of money do you make a month?
Sorry.
How much money do you make a month?
3,500 a month
And who do you live with?
with my mom.
You're gonna hire a lawyer, mate. No way about that. Welcome in, people.
We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to have you come up here. We'll have you sign for the order for protection. I'll have you sign a reset with Victoria. We're going to get you out of here to hire a lawyer. After that, I'll have you take a seat while we get your bond conditions. We'll have you sign it. And after that, you'll be free to go. Okay.
Just to catch you up, this is one of our arraignments. It's been alleged the argument started over him giving her an STD and spiraled out of control from there. He grabbed her hair. She mentioned she felt pain. Therefore, probable cause has been found. She does not want contact with him. Surprise, surprise! And he's now got a protection order on it. So he could go to jail for a number of things. Let's just hope this dirty fella cleans his act up and behaves himself.
Okay. Well, you can file no contact and no weapons.
Yes, sir.
3 times. Right, Judge, page 8.
You said paid 8?
Page 8.
Okay. Tatiana Green. Good morning. Ms. Green, you're charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you.
The complainant and the defendant have been married for 3 years. On November 17, 2024, officers were dispatched to a welfare check at a residence in Harris County, Texas, where the officers met with the complainant, who stated that the defendant and the complainant were having marriage issues due to the defendant cheating. The complainant stated that on November 17th, he observed the complainant laying on the couch he observed the defendant laying on the couch talking to another man on the phone. An argument then ensued. The complainant stated the defendant grabbed a curtain rod and hit him twice on the leg while he was laying in bed.
There's gotta be trust issues there somewhere. Honestly. Yeah, okay, talking to another guy on the phone might constitute cheating. But here's the thing. The fella's been married to her for 3 years. You'd think he knows her better than that. Mind you, I know some who wait till they're freaking 6 years deep and then they go do it. Or even deeper than that. I mean, yeah. It's a rough one.
The complainant stated he called 911 because he was worried about safety and needed help. Just before the officers arrived, the defendant bit the complainant's left arm, causing pain.
Oh, now so she's an animal as well. Awesome.
The officer observed the injury on the complainant's arm.
Do we know if he wants to have contact with her?
I'll read the RIF. A RIF was performed, so.
Okay. Ms. Green, it looks like a protective order has been issued in this case. Get to know it. If you violate it, the state will file additional charges against you, a violation of protective order. It's one of the worst cases you can pick up. Until I know that he wants to have contact with you, I'm barring you from having any contact with this person. Do you understand?
So it appears that the complainant does not want contact and the complainant is moving out in order to make sure no contact.
Okay, do you have a child with this person?
No, sir,
Great. I don't want to talk about the case.
it's not about the case. The apartment that we have together is my apartment, but right now, since I got out, I've been at my grandma's.
So for now, right, this bars you from going to the Westmead place, right? So you need a lawyer to represent you in this case. You need a lawyer to represent you in this case, ma'am. Do you work?
I do work. I just started working.
You judge yourself burritos sometimes.
Whenever I was in court for
You get a lawyer for the magistration.
I didn't talk to anyone,
Okay, so what kind of money do you make a month?
nothing right now.
How do you support yourself?
Excuse me, ma'am. Are you a whore?
Okay. Did you want to apply for a court-appointed lawyer, ma'am?
Yes,
The other option is you can go hire one. What would you like? Okay. Actually, I have one. So I have an affidavit already filled out. So what we'll do is I'll have you just sign a receipt with Victoria. I'll have you sign here the order for protection, and then we'll have you take a seat. Don't leave until you sign our additional bond conditions, and then we'll have you talk to the lawyer here momentarily.
okay.
Okay?
Yeah, that was a roughie.
It was already signed, but
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, we'll just need to sign the reset, and then we'll have you take a seat.
All right,
That was a
Judge,
rough
next
one.
is page 13 and 14. Maple, come on up.
You are on the green bond.
Yeah, no contact, no weapons,
Yes, Judge.
please. All right, Mr. Maple, I'm gonna have you take your seat in the juror box while we wait for your lawyer. Take a seat for me over there, please.
Next is page 14. Nelson, come on up.
Same thing. I'm gonna have him wait. I mean, we're gonna have you wait. Your case is extremely old. We're gonna wait for your lawyer to get here to figure out what we're gonna do. Take a seat for me in the jury box, sir.
All right, the next is page 15.
I'm gonna need,
Pearson.
I need the second jury box. Put them on top.
Start going back to the second row.
Come on up, sir.
He's gonna have to get
Vic,
another
what was
jury
last name?
box.
Page 15, Pearson.
Got it. Jaquan Peterson. Mr. Peterson, you're charged with reckless driving. You're facing up to 30 days and or a $500 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On November 14th, 2024, the officer was part of a task force with the main focus being hostile street takeovers and racers. A large group of motor vehicles were meeting at the 11700 East Freeway in a parking lot in Harris County, Texas, when the
Oh.
officer observed the defendant's motor vehicle enter an area of the parking lot and begin to spin his.
Si tú hablas, te pongo en la cárcel.
Judge hates that. Hates getting interrupted by that.
Okay, sorry, please,
Would you like me to start from the beginning, Judge?
please.
Yes, Judge. On November 14, 2024, the officer was part of a task force with the main focus being hostile street takeovers and racers. A large group of motor vehicles were meeting at the 11700 East Freeway in a parking lot when the officer observed the defendant's motor vehicle enter an area of the parking lot and begin to spin his rear tires with a loud screeching noise. The defendant's motor vehicle did several donuts, losing control of the rear end within 10 to 15 feet of other motor vehicles, making up the pit. The officer observed the defendant's motor vehicle complete approximately 2 to 3 donuts, and a traffic stop was initiated. The officer made contact with the defendant, the driver and sole occupant, and the defendant admitting to doing donuts.
Run his NCIC. Does he have any other cases like this by chance?
I'll run his NCIC, Your Honor.
Please. Mr. Pearson, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Can you imagine if you start doing these donuts, you hit and kill someone? Who gets charged with murder?
Caldwell.
These are things you must consider when you're out there in the free world. You think before you act, think before you speak, because actions may be your last.
And Your Honor, he has no other open cases or criminal history.
Do you have a Texas driver license? Do you have liability insurance in your name? Can you run this license,
It's
please?
eligible, Your Honor.
I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to participate in activities like this again. No reckless driving, donuts, street takeovers, racing. If I find that you do, the first thing I'm going to do is take your privilege to drive away from you. And the next thing I will do is I will put you in jail. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
610. The freeways, toll roads, parking lots. This isn't the right way to put. You don't do this over there. And I'm going to tell you now, the Texas legislature has made it extremely easy for DAs across Texas to seize and take cars for individuals who participate in these types of actions. And I've had defendants come here with their cars seized, $50,000 trucks taken because of these types of actions. So be careful out there, because not only can you next time go to jail, but you may lose that very car that you had. Can you file those conditions, please? No donuts, reckless driving, etc. We are going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to have you sign a reset with Victoria. After that, we will have you take a seat in jury box while we get your bond condition. We'll have you sign it, and then you'll be free to go. When you come back, please have a lawyer, sir.
All right, Judge Potter, page 16.
Robert Potter. Mr. Potter, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On November 17th, 2024, at 1:10 a.m. in the morning, officers conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's motor vehicle after observing it traveling at a high rate of speed, 67 miles per hour in a
Nothing good happens at 1 in the morning, especially with you going 70 and a 30.
45-mile-per-hour zone. Upon contact, the officer observed the defendant to be the driver and sole occupant and observed him with slurred speech, strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, and bloodshot, glassy eyes. The defendant admitted to drinking and scored himself as a 5 on a 1 to 10 intoxication scale. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted, HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 7 out of 8, one leg stand 2 out of 4. The officer observed the defendant to be disoriented, drowsy, had slow and sluggish reactions, was uncoordinated, unsteady, as well as disoriented.
So he was drunk as well. Severely drunk. That's how I would word that one. It's conclusory, but it is fact.
During the tests. An inventory search of the defendant's vehicle revealed a 12-pack of 12-ounce Modelo's in the back seat, as well as a 6-pack of 14-ounce Michelob Ultra with 1 container left.
Boom. We know what he's been drinking, then. The Michelin Ultra. Darn it.
DICs were read and the defendant consented to breath, the results being 0.097 and 0.099.
Is there any evidence that he's consuming while he's driving?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Potter, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Do you have a valid Texas driver license? Do you have valid liability insurance?
Yes, sir.
In your name?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Can you run his license, please? Any prior DWIs?
No, Your Honor.
I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond, Mr. Potter, not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any illegal drugs, unprescribed controlled medication, I will put you in jail. No more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
How old are you, sir?
19.
What do you do for a living?
Bull maker. Work. Never find.
How much money do you make a month? We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I will have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. I'll get you with Fleischer for your bond conditions. And after that, you'll be free to go. Be careful. Don't use. I don't care what your excuse is. If I find that you're using, there's a one-way trip. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, man. Come on.
Oh, damn it. Oh, I have
All right,
time.
Judge,
Yeah.
next is Simmons, Bergen, page 17.
Morning, Judge.
Hi, Louise. How are you?
Oh, hello.
Miss Simmons Irvin. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ma'am, you're charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. If you cannot afford a lawyer will be appointed to represent you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. On November 14th, 2024, officers were dispatched to a trespasser call at a business in Harris County, Texas. The officers made contact with a witness who stated the defendant was asked to leave the business, but was refusing to leave. The officer walked over to the defendant and tried to inform her that if she refused to leave, she would be considered trespassing. The defendant would not listen and did not want to leave. The officer attempted to detain the defendant and place her in handcuffs, but the defendant kept pulling away, refusing to give the officer her hands. The defendant also braced her legs on the ground to prevent the officer from removing her, and the officer had to use a reasonable amount of force to place the defendant in handcuffs and remove her. The defendant braced her legs against the seat and door and prevented the officer from properly detaining her in the marked unit, And once in the unit, the defendant grabbed and pulled the officer's shirt, trying to pull herself out of the unit.
Okay, what store is this that she was in?
I have the address. I'll look to see if they have a store name listed.
Your Honor, man, if I may speak.
Now's not the time. I mean, I've got a bunch of DAs here. Anything that you say, they're going to use it against you to prove guilt. You'll get the opportunity, I promise. Just now's not that time. How old are you, ma'am?
I'm 30 years old.
What do you do for a living?
I don't have a job. I'm disabled.
What's the nature of your disability?
I got cardiac web, a hematoma, deteriorating spine, hole in my heart, pulled ligaments, bilateral kidneys, asthma, cancer.
How do you support yourself?
Currently at this moment, I'm supposed to be receiving, I got my social security claim number, but they refused to give me my award letter. And also, I was currently supposed to be residing at Vermilion Apartments, and my contract, I guess, was switched.
I want to know about the case. I just want to know how do you eat? How do you get money?
I don't.
I mean, you don't even sell burritos sometimes? But dang, that's a list of stuff. Blimey. Whoo-wee, that's a list of stuff. I mean, should ask Evie to list everything she's got on camera. She would have beat this one, but yeah, this one's got enough struggles of her own.
I need you to fill out an application for me, and then I'll take a look to see if you qualify. As a condition of your bond, don't go back to this place.
It appears to be a housing facility.
Do not go back to this place, ma'am.
So I can't go back to Houston Housing Authority.
Whatever this place where they were trying to trespass you from, don't go back, ma'am. I'll provide you a lawyer today and we'll talk about how we go forward, but I don't want it to be more bad blood and I don't want you to go back to jail. If you go back, they don't want you there.
That's police brutality.
There's got to be some other reasonable way that we work things out, and we'll try. But you got to give it time, let things cool down. If you go right back after this issue now, you're begging for trouble.
Well, my contract is supposed to be terminated on 11/30, meaning I still have an active contract. So what am I supposed to be doing about that in regards to that? I mean, I have my paperwork to prove
I
it.
can't give you legal advice, but we'll have you talk to a lawyer and figure out how we go forward. Okay? For the time being, don't go back though.
Okay.
Please, because it's only begging for bad blood. Okay? Yeah, so I need you to fill out an application for me. I'll have you sign a receipt of Victoria, and then we'll just have you take a seat while we find your lawyer.
Okay.
You know what you do about it? You don't go back. You jump on a phone, you call them up, and you say, hey, because I'm not allowed back there, cancel my fucking contract with you guys. There might be a fee charge, but and ultimately it is contacting, though I believe contacting is not part of the trespass statute. If you trespass from somewhere, it doesn't mean you can't contact him. It just means you can't physically go to that place. Yeah, jump on the phone. Jump on, I don't know, go down to the library. Look the email up on the computer, send him an email. I'm sure if you ask nicely, someone will give you 15 minutes on the computer to do that. And then just go back the next day and check that same email. Honestly, ask him to cancel the contract. if the contract is for you to stay there, tell them that because you're trespassed, the contract is now null and void, and therefore should be treated as dissolved. I mean, that's the easiest way to do it. If I had a contract with somewhere and I got trespassed, I would make contact with them and ask them to cancel the contract. I would make sure they cancelled the contract so I didn't get charged. Hell, if I've got to get a lawyer to help me do it, I've got to get a lawyer to help me do it. But that's the only way I see for her to deal with that contract. The rest of it, I've got no clue about, and she's trying to claim police brutality. Nah, I don't think so. I think her refusal to follow the lawful order was obvious here. I have seen Law Talk with Mike and a couple of other people suggest sovereign citizen adjacent. Like, she's not quite there, but she's on her way with that mindset. No, I don't think so. I think it's just flat out refusal to follow a lawful order. That's all I think.
Okay, please.
Torres Samuel,
Ochoa Gonzalez,
page 19.
So file, don't go back,
Yes, Judge.
please.
Gonzalez, Rich Gonzalez.
Ochoa.
Joe.
Sir, what is your name?
Torres, come on up. Page 19.
You're Samuel Torres. Mr. Torres, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. It's elevated to a Class A misdemeanor because of the high blow, so you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On November 14th, 2024, the officers observed the defendant's motor vehicle make a wide right turn at an intersection with the dividing concrete median, accelerate at a high rate of speed from the intersection, failed to maintain a single lane, moving halfway into the center lane before returning to the outside lane, cross over a solid white line into a bike lane before returning to the lane, and the officer observed other cars in the area at the time, rendering the failure to maintain a single lane dangerous to the other motor vehicles. The defendant's motor vehicle stopped at a red light and remained stopped after the light turned green, obstructing traffic, and the officer then initiated a traffic stop once the defendant's motor vehicle finally proceeded through the intersection. The officers had to travel approximately 0.5 miles from the original location as the defendant continued to drive. The officer made contact with the defendant, the driver, and the officer observed bloodshot eyes, an odor of an alcoholic beverage, and the defendant stated he did not immediately pull over because he lives at the apartment complex where the traffic stop was eventually performed and did not want his vehicle towed. The defendant stated he was coming from his sister's house, and the officer observed the defendant using the motor vehicle to regain balance. The defendant stated he had one Long Island liquor drink that he was currently consuming inside the motor vehicle.
Bam.
The officer found a frozen daiquiri, still frozen and half consumed, on the passenger side of the floorboard.
So he's drinking while driving?
Yes, Judge. And the officers performed standard field sobriety test, HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 7 out of 8, one leg stand 3 out of 4. The defendant was read the DIC, consented to breath. The results were 0.151 and 0.160.
Woo! They're fairly high blows.
Mr. Torres, do you have a Texas driver license?
Yes, sir, I do.
I'm now taking away your privilege to drive. You are not allowed to drive at all for any reason. And I don't give a rat's behind what your excuse is. If I find that you drive I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing up to 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you get into a car and drive. Do you understand? From now on, you'll be taking the Dodge Patas. This is an affidavit that you're going to be signing with me today, promising me. And I don't care what your excuse is. If there's a burning building with 50 kittens you have to save, you get into a car and drive, we will have issues. I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I will randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, likewise, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds, sir. Any priority to be eyes, Alex? How old are you, sir?
Victor,
What do you do for a living?
I'm a mechanic.
How much money do you make a month?
About 24 right now.
Who do you live with?
My wife, my sister, my daughter.
Got himself a nice little love triangle between his wife and his sister. Mhm.
Who else in the house works?
Just me.
Apply for an appointed lawyer, sir. So help me. Any issue, Mr. Torres, if I set your bond $5,000 to $10,000 and you ain't got anyone to pony up that kind of money, you will be stuck like Chuck until this case is over with. Make wise decisions while you're out there, because if you don't, I'm going to keep you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you mind giving me an application, please? Have you application for an appointed lawyer? I need you to fill out everything. Don't just put zeros, because I'm going to send it right back to you. I'll have you sign a reset with Victoria. You're going to have to meet with Fleischer for your bond conditions. And then we'll have you take a seat in the jury box.
Vasquez, Guillermo, page 20.
Do you speak English, sir?
Flores José Antonio.
Acérquese aquí al centro. Solamente mire el juez y le contesta con respeto en español.
Claro que sí. Florencio Martinez Vázquez Guillermo.
Sí.
Guillermo, yes, solo mire.
Charged with driving while intoxicated.
Solo mire el juez, por favor.
You were facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney appointed if you cannot afford one, sir.
Para usted, si usted no puede pagar por su propio. Solo quédese mirando el juez, por favor.
On November 17th, 2024, the officer conducted a traffic stop after observing the defendant's motor vehicle run a red light. Upon contact with the defendant, who was the driver and sole occupant of the vehicle, the officer observed the defendant with bloodshot eyes and a moderate odor of an alcoholic beverage. The defendant admitted to drinking and advised that he was coming from a party. Standard field sobriety tests were performed. HGN, 6 out of 6, walk and turn, 5 out of 8, one leg stand, 2 out of 4. Inventory search of the vehicle reveals one open 12-ounce bottle of Modelo.
Drinking while driving.
DICs were read, and the defendant consented to correct. The results being 0.122 and 0.126.
Mr. Vasquez Guillermo, I'm going to find that there's probable case. Tell me, are you a United States citizen?
Solo mire el juez, por favor.
Are you in this country with or without permission?
Sin permiso.
No, sin permiso.
No, without permission.
What happens if you go to jail?
Si usted va a una cárcel. Acérquese, señor, y no me mire, por favor, solo al juez. ¿Qué pasa si usted va a una cárcel?
No, pues, no sé.
Well, I don't know.
Are you in this country with or without permission?
Sin permiso.
O sea, entré con permiso, me quedé.
I entered with permission, but I stayed, I remained.
If you go to jail
usted va a una cárcel,
and immigration finds you, Mr. Vasquez, they will put a detainer on you and you will be stuck in custody until this case is over with. And then you will be shipped off to immigration, where you will sit for another 6 to 9 months waiting for immigration to do whatever they're going to do. I would hope that you recognize it's elementary that you're not to have alcohol in the car while you're driving. And it is a minimum of 5 days in jail to any sentence you get
reciba,
if they allege
si
the open container. I will tell you now that immigration sweeps it every single day. So if you spend more than 6 hours in custody, you'll be stuck like Chuck with an immigration detainer. I am now putting conditions on your bond, and if I find that you violate these conditions, you will go to jail in a moment's notice. And I don't care if you're kicking and screaming. Do you understand?
¿Entiende, señor? Sí, señor o no, señor.
Sí, 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 entiendo.
You are
Yes, yes.
not allowed
Usted no
to
está
drive. And you will be signing with me today a promise that you're not going to drive. I don't care what your excuse is. If I find that you drive, to jail you will go.
cárcel irá usted.
Likewise, I'm ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. You will be randomly tested. If you test positive for alcohol or drugs, likewise, you will go into jail.
De igual manera la va a ir a una cárcel.
Ujú. Está bien, está bien.
That's fine, that's fine.
Any prior DWIs?
Yo
No, Your Honor.
Ninguno, señor. Soy amigo del juez, por favor.
Sí.
Entienda eso.
Sí.
We are going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I will have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. This is an affidavit. I'm going to tell you now, Mr. Vasquez, look at me.
Míreme,
This is the only
es la única
warning you will get from me.
recibir de parte mía.
One violation whatsoever. I'm going to keep you with me.
Voy a mantenerlo usted conmigo.
Do you understand?
¿Entendió eso, señor?
Sí, señor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, come up here, swear to us that you're not to drive. We'll get you to Victoria and then we'll get you with Fleischer for your bond condition.
All right, Judge, next is page 22, White.
Guys like them need to be chucked in jail where they get the immigration detainer on real fast. Sorry, but not sorry.
Good morning, Ms. White. Ma'am, you're charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge. The complainant and the defendant are married. On November 16th, the officer was dispatched to a residence in Harris County, Texas, in reference to an assault. The officer met with the complainant, who stated the defendant and him had a verbal altercation that began the night prior, due to the defendant thinking the complainant was talking to another woman on the phone. The complainant stated he tried to sleep, but the defendant wouldn't stop arguing. The complainant stated that he slept in a separate bedroom, but the defendant came into the bedroom at 5 a.m. and started yelling at him, accusing him of cheating.
Pardon.
The complainant stated he tried to walk out when the defendant struck him with a closed fist right between his eyes, causing him to feel pain and discomfort. The complainant stated he feared for his life and had no other choice but to call 911.
Okay, Ms. White, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Do we know if he wants to have contact with her?
Let me see if a rip has been done, Your Honor.
Please.
No rip has been done, Your Honor.
Okay. I don't know if he wants to have contact with you, so until I know, I'm ordering you not to have contact with this person. A protective order has been issued in this case. I would suggest you get to know it, because if you violate the protective order, the state can and will file additional charges against you, a violation of a protective order, and it's one of the worst cases that you can pick up. Do you understand, man? So you're not to have contact with this person and not to be in possession of any weapons. Do you work, man?
I do.
What do you do for a
I
living?
sell burritos
I'm
sometimes.
school bus driver,
What kind of money do you make a month?
$3,000 a month.
Okay, we're gonna reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. I'll have you go to Victoria Center.
Okay, so she at $1,000 a month, she does a little bit more than sell burritos sometimes. But I like the meme.
Reset. After that, we'll just have you take a seat in the jury box. So we'll get your bond finished. You'll have you sign it, and then you'll be free to go. Okay? Please. So no contact, no weapons. Please.
Judge, that was the last.
We had one that had picked up another DWI.
Yes.
Where is your client?
He was sitting in the ERD because his prior case was ERD. He thought it was there. He's here now.
Okay, can you bring him up, please? You speak English?
Yes, sir. Asiel Gracia.
Here we go.
No.
This is how.
It was DWIs.
Oh, that must be.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. What's the word with him?
So he checked in, counsel's not here.
Can you bring him up and let's put him in I don't want to lose him. Please. Joshua Jones, come up.
Howdy, howdy.
Is there space?
Judge's jury box is too small, mate. Far out. He's letting this guy stand there and sweat it out.
You are Asiel Gracia.
Sure.
Mr. Gracia, so
He's charged with, I've never seen this before, Judge, but he's charged with violating a bond condition.
yeah, I've certainly seen it.
And,
It's either
It's not a protective order, it's a bond condition.
right, because they can't make the protective order case because it's been more than 61 days,
It had
right?
nothing to do with the protective order, Judge.
So, yeah, right, I get it.
It was a different situation completely. Had nothing to do with family violence.
Get there. So you're charged in violation of a bond condition / protective order. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you, sir. If you cannot afford a lawyer be appointed to represent you. So before we start, was he in a PTI? Is that why this case is 1,000 days old?
Yes, sir. He just has a few BIP classes left to finish the PTI.
Okay. Okay, go for it.
Judge. The officer was dispatched to a business in Harris County, Texas, in response to a disturbance. Upon arrival, the officer observed the defendant grab another male aggressively, and the officer conducted a search on the defendant's person and found a loaded gun in the front pocket. The defendant is currently on bond for an assault family violence and has bond conditions in place prohibiting from possessing a firearm.
Yeah, all right. Mr. Gracia, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward on the bond conditions. State, what's your position as far as he's in a PTI? He's now picked up a new case. Mr. Gracia, I want you to know that we take these bond conditions extremely serious.
Sir.
You don't, though. This is not your first VPO. This is not your first violation of bond condition. You don't get it. No means no. Doesn't mean maybe. Doesn't mean I'm going to a high crime area. No means no. And now there are consequences. Stephen.
Judge, can I tell you a little bit about the case?
Sure.
You know, like, just to explain to you what happened. He was at his business. He owns a trucking company. He hired somebody who he said he took a chance on him because has a sketchy record, convicted felon. It didn't work out within a couple of days. So he ended up firing the individual. The individual refused to leave the premises or refused to accept it. So he started threatening him. He went inside. The individual started trying to damage the trucks. So at that point, he was fearful. He went and retrieved a firearm that he knew was hidden in the vehicle. I'm sorry, in there. I understand, Judge.
It's about the worst thing that you can do. Imagine if you use the firearm. Who gets charged with murder, Mr. Gracia? Who has now dug themselves into a potential 50-year hole? We have a case like that today where a meager argument, someone who's charged with assault is now charged with murder because of a silly ass, stupid ass argument. Now dude is sitting in custody with a $250,000.
And he's been punished at this point, Judge. He's been punished for violating the bond by getting an entire new case on that. So as far as him going into custody for violating the bond condition, I would hope that you would take that into consideration, the fact that he has gotten punished on the bond violation already, and the fact that he's already had to hire a new attorney for two cases at this point, and it's probably going to affect the other case. So I would hope that you would continue supervision on that, just taking that into consideration.
I truly appreciate your position, but you have an assault from 2019 of a family member. The following year, you pick up a violation of a protective order or bond condition. Now you have another assault that they were even, what the hell you're looking over there? Was it Jesus over there? You already have an assault of a family member that was dismissed as it is. You were lucky enough to even have this kind of an agreement where they're willing to dismiss a second assault of a family member, and now you pick up another violation of a bond condition. Eric, he doesn't get it.
I understand, Judge.
You don't get it. And now I have to show you, we mean business. I think that you are utter and complete danger to public safety. And I will do everything in my power to protect my public in every single way. Because the last thing I want is you to pick up a murder case like we have here this morning. Someone else goes with you.
Judge, one more thing. There's a bond condition on there that he's not allowed to return to that address. That address is his business. It's his place of business. The other person has no right to that address. So hasn't worked for the last week and a half because there's a bond condition, I'm assuming from the magistrate, that doesn't allow him to go back to that business.
Show me proof.
I'd like to be
Show
able
me
to take
proof. And, you know, the proper, you know, and you need advice, the proper way to do things is you call the cops. Really. I mean, that's, if you own the business, you show it. I mean, how easy would it have been to just call police?
I mean, he has a right to defend his property and
Not while the case is open. He does, but not in that manner.
It's one of those things where things happen quick and you have to make a decision. And when we're talking about trucks that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and things like that.
911, man, really?
How long do they take to get there, Judge? So
Okay, they will still take his ass to jail, and then, you know, you try to get restitution or whatnot, but.
So as far as the bond goes, can you set him a bond today? So
Of course.
And Judge, we've contacted Conrad because it's his case, but I just want to confirm that bond has been revoked for his prior case. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, on the assault, I'm revoking it.
Yes, Judge.
Looks like they set the bond at 20,000 on the new case.
Yes, Judge.
I'm gonna mirror it.
Because he's already posted that bond, he's already hired me. He hired me on the other case as well. There's a motion to sub in the queue that I need you to sign as well.
I'll sign it for you.
I'd ask that you set that new bond at $500. It's tough for the family, Judge. At this point, he hasn't worked in 2 weeks. He's trying to get everything properly. He didn't go back to the location because of the bond conditions.
You must be joking, you.
I'm not doing $500. I mean, I was thinking that was gonna mirror the same one. I was gonna put it at
And that would be his
20,000.
state's position to mirror.
So he understands that we mean business, you know, if he's unable to bond out, I'm always willing to talk after a couple days, you know, but I want him to understand that we take it absolutely serious. And when you go over there with a gun, with the intent to do some serious damage, hell no, no way, no. And I think that making it 20,000, what the other one is, hopefully it'll get his attention. But like I said, look,
10,000?
like I'm not out for blood, Eric, you know, so if he's unable to, after some time, come back, and I'm not talking weeks, but you know, a couple days, so he realizes that we mean business.
So we're talking about 2 weeks minimum. So would you consider getting 10,000?
Well, remember, I Zoom, so you can be in Abu Dhabi. I'm still, well, here.
His mom's present, so let me talk to her.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks,
Okay.
Judge.
20 G's.
Bingo.
Anna,
Prosecutor got it.
Eric Vasquez, Guillermo.
This is yours.
That's my client.
Okay, sorry.
Judge, was that 20,000 needed?
20,001.
Jones, this way.
I'm here on Emma Lynch. She's got a bond violation. You wanted to talk to her.
Okay, do you mind bringing her up?
Yes, Ms. Lynch. When you were here last time, you ordered her to have the interlock installed on her vehicle. She is not driving the vehicle. It's not drivable. We just need to switch her to a portable.
Oh, no.
And a no drive.
She has nothing. And it doesn't matter. We ordered you to have an interlock in a car. You haven't done anything and you're without any kind of devices whatsoever, right?
That was totaled and it's at my house right now, but I don't have I'm in a rental car that I'm not driving, so I don't have a car to put it in.
So you have no device.
That's correct.
You're not being monitored.
That's correct.
This is not a good thing, Ms. Lynch, because I ordered you to have a device. And from what I understand here, you never even went and got it.
Because she doesn't have a vehicle to put it on.
But you come back and you say, hey, judge, I don't have a vehicle. I need to do something else. You just don't, out of sight, out of mind. That's not the way things work.
Judge, for that violation as well, we instructed her in court and sent a message for her to report to 49 following court to get further instruction over everything so that we could figure out things from there, and she never reported.
Stephen. Ms. Lynch, you haven't done anything. They've literally bent over backwards to help you and do stuff, and you haven't done anything.
I wanted to come in today.
The only reason you're here today is because I ordered you here
Yes,
today.
sir. Yes, sir.
She goes with you.
Yes, sir.
I wonder how full it's getting out back.
Email, text it, call, nothing. You know?
I understand. Would you consider setting her a new bond or do you?
Of course. 5,001. And then, if she's unable to, then what's today, Friday, Monday, then we can talk. Okay?
It makes me smile.
Yes, ma'am.
Check in, come over here. Sir, you do not need to be talking to anyone in the jury box.
Hey, hi, come on up.
Judge, Ms. Holly Harvey. Judge, this is DWI PTI intervention. Ms. Harvey's been removed from the program. Harvey, yes, Judge.
I'm bringing him up.
Ms. Harvey.
Good morning, Mr. Horn. It's been a while. I was hoping you'd give me some good news. Shh. What did she pick up? Don't. Stephen, do you have room back there?
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, ma'am. You picked up a new case while you're on bond. We have one thing that we do when people pick up new cases, right? I have to revoke her bond. Sorry, ma'am. She goes with you.
Judge, if we could talk about right now.
Sure.
Judge, we asked for a $500 bond. Judge, this is, she was on the program for, it looks like about 8 months. I don't know if there was any other violations. I just been on this case for 24 hours. But I know the new law violations triggering what we're triggering. But I believe she was in compliance on the DWI program she was in compliance up to this new law violation. So, is
that right?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, she was, but now they've, so I'll set the bond at 2501, okay? But understand it's now time to decide what we need to do. If she wanted to do something today.
Judge, I'm just retained. Let me get her bond out. Yeah, Judge, ma'am, I have 6 weeks.
Oh, 6 weeks is,
The
max I'll give you, it's 520 days old. I'll give you 30, but at that time, and if she gets out, she needs to come here immediately for bond conditions because I'm putting an ankle monitor on her as far as like, what does she have now?
That's part of the program, Judge.
Do we need to redo bond conditions?
It was a very fast snatch from the judge on that one. Oh,
Had,
She still has, Judge.
has, okay, she has to remain in compliance and you need to advise her that she got to remain in compliance with that. If that goes out, the bond is,
That's correct, Judge. I advise her upon initial consultation.
so here's the deal. She's going to auto-populate on Monday. Well, I bet she's gonna bond out.
Yes, Judge.
So she'll be back here within the next 7 days. And then I guess we'll come back at that time, give you a little bit more time for you guys to decide what you want to do. But after that, it's plea or trial. Okay, Mr. Horn.
Thank you.
Thanks.
To let you know, I didn't tell you earlier, there was a time.
You're gonna hold on to that?
Yes.
All right, that's
yes.
good. Yeah, we'll,
2501,
Judge, what's the new bond amount?
2501. Okay, you ready? Hi, good morning. Give me good news.
Joshua Jones.
Oh,
So he's here for a PTI violation. He has picked up new cases.
come up, Joshua Jones.
I was just gonna ask
Oh,
you if
man.
we could withdraw. He's nearly a year past due. He owes us over $2,000. We don't want to get on the new case. Allow him some time to hire an attorney that can handle.
I'm okay with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's fine. And so I will have to appoint him someone, you know. Mr. Jones, let me express my disappointment with you. You were was he in the PTI program?
To my knowledge, he had a
You
previous
were in the
attorney.
intervention program for DWI, and now you've picked up another DWI.
oh God.
You now face another 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney appointed if you cannot afford one.
Yes, Judge. On November 7th,
I'm sorry, prosecutor, but this guy's face looks like who's sucked up. Who farted in here?
2024, an officer was dispatched to a person down call at the 15,000 block Intercontinental Road. And upon contact, the officer made contact with a witness who advised he observed the defendant to be asleep in the driver's seat of his motor vehicle. Despite the witness's attempts to wake the defendant did not wake up, and the witness turned the defendant's vehicle off in order to maintain his safety. The officer observed the defendant asleep in the driver's seat of the motor vehicle and also had unsuccessful attempts at waking up the defendant. When the defendant finally woke up after the officer made physical contact with him, the officer observed an unholstered black pistol in the driver's door and 2 half-consumed alcoholic beverages inside the truck.
Drinking
Oh,
while
man.
driving?
Yes, Judge. And standard field sobriety tests were refused. DIC was read and the defendant consented to breath and blood. Blood was drawn due to the defendant being unable to give 2 breath samples.
Yeah, this guy's got more things wrong with him than a pocket full of sticks. Straight up. Number one, he was already on the intervention program, and he picked up a freaking case of what the intervention program was for, mind you. And that case involved alcohol in the car while he was driving. Yeah, excuse me, far out. This is what graveyard does to you, by the way. And passed the fuck out. Like, dude.
Mr. Jones, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I am now finding that you're a complete and utter danger to the public, and I am taking away your privilege to drive. You will be signing an affidavit with me today promising me you're not going to drive, and I don't give a rat's behind what your excuse is if I find that you drive. I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. Do you understand? Because of the nature of the case, because you have an open container, 2 open containers with the DWI, I'm now revoking both of your bonds and I'm going to set them at $25,000 each. Do you understand? He goes with you. I'll sign your motion to withdraw.
She was just staring
Come on around.
at the front. It was Derek on the case.
Have you guys removed him from the case?
Yes, Judge, he's been removed from the program.
Can you order a guardian interlock, please, Vic,
Which one, Judge?
on the new one, please?
The newer one?
Yeah. So 25,002 on both.
It's the one with the highlighting, just the regular, there's no driving in the regular.
So, no, so no driving, no alcohol, no drugs. He gets a scram on one ankle. And then a GPS prior to release, curfew from 7 to 7. I think that's it. Eric, yeah, come on up.
You brought the proof within the court.
Okay,
The things, I can't see it in the, I don't have access to the OR and the bond conditions aren't in there yet. So can you see them?
mind attaching him?
Can I get your client's name?
Yeah, Gracias.
Gracias. Okay.
So has mom been over there to check on everything? Because I'm sure mom can go over there.
I'm not sure, Judge. I don't know if you wanted to send her over.
I would check with her. Perhaps she can go over there just to make sure.
Reports and they did that kind of stuff. That's all done.
If they're in that much in fear of that kind of, I mean, she should go over there, check on it, and then if there's an
Because
issue.
I want to send her over there by herself. But they did make police reports and went through all those steps.
And it appears that we're still waiting on the offense report.
But you see bond conditions in there?
I do not see bond conditions.
So the magistrate told him he couldn't go over there, but I guess they didn't actually sign it.
Let me see.
I do see it from the magistrate. Just preventing him to go from 30-31.
To the East Wallaceville?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, so here's when he bought East Wallaceville. He just doesn't have the full number.
So, Morgan, do you want to reach out to your CW?
Actually, Conrad is here.
Oh, hey, Conrad,
There is no CW.
come on up. Come dance with us.
There is no CW, Judge. You're listed as the CW.
Okay, I meant the person, did he pull a gun on the person? Okay, right, he had one on him. So do you have the name of the person that was the actual worker that was there?
Eric Adams.
I just want to make sure that
has nothing to do with the case. And then
well,
the
he's
incident,
there.
they refused to involve him or take charges on either party.
I just want to make sure that he's not over there. Because what Mr. Benavides is asking is us to let him go back to this location. Because he owns it. This only says, it doesn't have a address though, Eric. It just says the street. And this isn't right.
Oh, pardon me, blimey.
This isn't it. It's even, if the property location is a different one, this one's in Highland as opposed to that one's in Baytown.
That was the name of the street, wasn't it? It was for Wallace.
The only thing that's same thing here, it says is Wallaceville, but it doesn't have the actual street address. It doesn't have the actual correct city. Do you want to print this out too for you, the conditions?
Yeah, please. Probably gonna have to print the flat records because it just shows like lot 2 in Wallaceville.
So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to ascertain some guy's identity so that we can make sure the guy is not there and he knows is not to go back, so that the guy who's actually
So it
got
does say
into
Wallaceville
trouble
and Baytown here.
on this case is allowed back because apparently he owns the place.
We just need some
Property records.
Well, here's the plat. I don't want to bust out the whole plat. See exactly what. We'll see the problem is.
What is this address?
This is where he purchased the property, but it says like East Wallaceville. Road. Which is the same as Wallaceville Road, it just doesn't say 3031.
It's talking about Highlands.
Sometimes like it could be listed as Highlands or Baytown.
Say the address out loud, because I'm like, so that you.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I'll go through the documents.
Yeah, just let me know. I mean, we've got a while.
Okay.
Judge, we have one more arraignment.
Okay.
He's gonna
Page
get off.
24. Giannis, come on up.
All right, after this next arraignment, I'm going to call
Did he
this
just
game.
get here?
No, he got here right when.
We started. What about the co-defendant?
I'm not sure. It landed in 14. They have expensive. Yeah. Sanders.
Okay, so you, Zader Yanez.
Sir.
Mr. Yanez, you're charged with theft. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On November 14th, 2024, officers were dispatched to a theft at a Home Depot in Harris County, Texas. The officers made contact with the complainant. The complainant observed the defendants enter the store, they observed the defendant walk into the store, walk to a hardware department, and approach a high-dollar Milwaukee hammer drill. The defendant, Yanez, selected one drill off the shelf and proceeded walking around the hardware department. The defendant handed the drill to the co-defendant and both proceeded to the plumbing section. The defendant opened the drill box, removed the drill from the box, and helped conceal the drill into the co-defendant's purse. The defendant discarded the empty box and both proceeded towards the front of the store. Both defendants passed all points of sale without paying. The total was $199.
Okay. Mr. Yanez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to go to any Home Depot whatsoever. Do you understand? If I find that you go, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. How old are you, sir? How old are you?
25.
What do you do for a living?
Distribution clerk.
Did you graduate from high school?
Yes.
What kind of money you make?
What kind of money I'm making? 17 an hour.
We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. After that, I'll have you take your seat in the jury box. We'll get your bond conditions, we'll have you sign it. You're also not to have any contact with the co-defendant in this case. Do you understand? You violate any of these conditions, you pick up a new case, I'm going to keep you with me, and it's not going to go well for you. You understand? Okay. All right, come on. So can you file no contact, no weapons, and no co-defendant, please?
Yes, Judge.
All right. An hour and 40 in. There was maybe not quite the last arraignment, but I tell you what, they've had one hell of a day for Friday. Judge probably wants to go home and have a good drink. In fact, he probably did. Yeah, I'm going to call it there. I'm somewhat exhausted from the week, and yeah, I've got my own shit to sort out. I'm tomorrow. So that being said, I might catch you around next time. Bye.